Hey guys, Mr. Stair here again from the Stairs Lair, and here to talk to you about another assignment here, give you a quick video. And you can see the title of this one that we're getting ready to talk about here momentarily. What did Chlorine say when she married a man 3.5 feet tall? Before we get to that, as always, I have wanted to at least check in with you about the previous worksheet. So the previous one was what might you say about a purple plaid shirt with pink, orange, and green stripes. The answer, I know you were not assigned all the questions, but the answer is it isn't a clash by itself. All right. So if you fill out the worksheet, that's the answer to it. Really not a big deal whether you did it or not, but there it is. All right. So we're going to take a look here. What did Chlorine say when she married a man 3.5 feet tall? If you remember the previous worksheet that we just did, we were looking at adding or subtracting fractions, but they all had common denominators. Okay, so that's where this is different. If you look here, not common denominators. All right, so we're going to take you back to 4th and 5th grade, which my two older boys have been hitting pretty hard here during e-learning, but is getting common denominators. We're going to do that same thing, and if you look really predominantly in the right-hand column, we have some variables on the bottom too that we're going to have to factor in with some of these common denominators. All right. So as always, I'm going to give you two, and the two that we are going to do are number 6 and number 12. All right. So let me reorganize the camera here, and we'll go from there. Again, as a reminder, I am only checking work. Okay. So if you feel like you are not able to fit everything on this paper, please make sure you, I guess in this case you can't use the back side because that was the previous day's worksheet, but just use a separate sheet of paper and we're going to go from there. All right. So I wanted to start with one that at least had some variables on the bottom, even if we didn't have to use variables or letters in some of that common denominator. All right. So when we're taking a look at this here, we have, again, number 6, 10a, and 3a, right? So we're looking for a common denominator. What I would do is, if this is tricky, just look at the numbers first. So if I just take a look at the numbers, if I had a 10 and a 3, again, back to elementary school, what would the common denominator be? To both of them, it would be just 30, right? Now, how do we get there? We'll get to that in just a second, but we want to make sure that we include this A, right? They both need to have at least one A, and that's what they do have, right? So this one right here, so the common denominator is 30A. Now, how do we get there? And this is going to be the key thing that we actually do. All right, so how did I go from 10A to 30A? Well, all I did was multiply by 3, right? So in common denominator fashion, if you multiply something on the bottom, we've got to make sure that we multiply it on top. Now, notice there's two terms here, so I want to make sure that I multiply both terms by that 3. All right? Same question here, but now we're looking at the second fraction. We have a 3a. We're going to the 30a. How do I do that? Well, we're just multiplying by 10. So again, I'd multiply the 10 to both terms on the second fraction. All right. So it looks like now I do have common denominators. I've adjusted the top. So like I did on yesterday's worksheet, I'm just going to organize my like terms here, right? So I have two a's. I have two numbers without a variable. If I just combine like terms, 89a plus 2 all over 30a. All right, so if I'm looking for that answer, over here on the left-hand column, again, using the answer, or the answers on the page, just to verify that you're getting the right thing, that's what we're looking for right there. All right. So that's pretty straightforward, right? Now, the second question, which was number 12 that I wanted to look at here, is the same idea. Notice it has a 3 and a 4. We're going to have to get common denominators. But notice that the variables are different, right? So let's take a look at this here. So again, if I have just 3 and 4, if I cover up those variables for right now, and I think about, if it's just 3 and 4, that's pretty easy. That would just be 12 as a common denominator here. Same question, but now the variables, and this is the first time that we're thinking about this. I have 1x on the left fraction, but I have 2x's on the bottom of the right fraction. So they both have to be essentially the most amount of x's. Think about it. If I had 3 and 4, I went to 12, right? If I have x and x squared, right, they both have to have the most amount of x's. So that means that they both have to have x squared right there. All right. Now let's do what we did right here. As far as how did I go from 3x to 12x squared? Well, 3 to 12 is just 4. But notice I also have to include that x, right? I had 1x, but now I'm going to 2. So I need to make sure that I'm including that here, and then I'm just actually distributing that. So 4x times x, 4x squared. 4x times a positive 1 is just 4x. Let's do the same thing here. Notice I'm going from 4x squared to 12x squared, right? So 4 to 12 is just 3. And notice my denominators match up with those x's. So that's all I'm really going to have to multiply by. Distribute that 3 on the top, right? Since we changed the bottom, that would be 6x plus 21. Again, now I'm just looking for some like terms. It looks like there's nothing to combine with the x squared. We do have 2 x's, but only one term again without any variables, right? So we're going to, with that addition sign between it, we're going to take a look at 4x squared plus 10x plus 21. This is all over 12x squared. And notice the answers right there. Loved. All right. I hope you guys are doing well, that you're safe. If there's anything that I can do, mathematically speaking, or even any kind of other help or anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out through me through email or send a Canvas message, things like that. You know, I'm stuck here helping my kids with e-learning while you guys are doing e-learning too. So hope you guys are well. Stay safe. Peace out until the next time.